It's only 6 in the morning, but I've been up hours. So, like, just have the curtains closed still. It's way too dark. Plus, I don't know what they're doing with daylight savings time or something. The darkness, it's staying so dark for so long here in the morning. And then, anyways, whatever. We all know it's all just been bullshit, fake shit. But this whole thing with this fiber optics thing, now I have seen so many people in my comments. They were going in to so many different neighborhoods and stuff and just putting them in overnight. And then they're telling people all these different stories. Oh, it's for the internet. Oh, it's for electric cars. Oh, it's for this. It's just like whatever they think that their area will believe. Because seriously, when I say we're all little experiments, we are all little realities, little planetary systems. People just don't understand that there's nothing out there that we aren't already experiencing. It's going to be just the same. There'll be more beings that will look different. Like there'll be more of a variety. But, I mean, a lot of people have had a hard time just getting used to people being different on this planet. And, so, seeing somebody who has 2 heads and 5 arms, well, there's people who don't really even realize because of the way an octopus looks, they think that it is, just a little animal that has no sense or anything. And aliens, I mean, I think octopus are 100% an alien being. They are definitely a being who is having an experience. And then look at how humans, and I mean, this is how nature works, is something that figures out how to be more powerful over another thing, takes it and kills it and uses its energy. So that is part of how this world always was functioning. I don't know about the future world. I mean, I've heard we're going to be able to just print something out and eat it or something. Like, we're not going to have the same energy needs when we get to this higher consciousness frequency where we understand more about ourselves. It's so funny too how so many people think it's like we're going to move to a new place or something, but it's really us evolving as ourself by understanding ourselves and understanding like what we're capable of. Just like learning how to lucid dream. I think that is, what the whole thing is. And people think it's something, like the ascension and all that. They take everything just like so literal. But that's the way their minds have been trained in this 3D world, is to think that way. Everything is literal. And so it is hard to understand some of this stuff, you know what I mean? But to me, it is, it's the evolution of consciousness. And how can you evolve your consciousness if you're just stuck in pain and trauma and just sitting there all the time stressing out about something someone said to you or something you said to somebody or what somebody did to you 10 years ago or what you did last night to somebody that you're ashamed of. Like, everybody has that stuff, that they carry around. And so it depends on if you're putting all your energy into those things. That is what is the lower chakra. That is the autopilot reactive lifestyle that is toxic. You're never living your best life. You're not living in the present moment. You're just existing in a plane of existence that you are experiencing the past and the future. You're not really in the present. And so that is why, for consciousness to evolve and heal what is those mind traps and to get themselves into a space that they can be in the present moment and experience life as it plays out. And that's a completely evolution for consciousness to be able to do that. That's why the healing and stuff, I push it and push it and push it, because it is so much about the evolution of self, so that you can begin to focus on what is right in front of you. Until you can release everything that is going on inside, then you are just trapped in your mind and you are thinking about things, and you are not experiencing the life that you are actually here to live, you know. So anyways, I think that it is about this evolution to self by healing. And for me, as I was healing, and I don't want to say to somebody, this will happen and that will happen and do this and do that, because a lot of people, they go out and they try and do it, and it's like it doesn't work for them in the same way, and then they become frustrated and they think they're doing something wrong. But you're never doing something wrong. You may be trying to do something that is like somebody else, and that's just not your way. And that is why you have to tune into yourself and find your way. And it is in there. Like, we all have our own path. We all have our own feet. We all have our own way of getting there. So as each person has to go inside to find, how they're going to step out and step into this world. And we keep on trying to follow each other's paths because we think that will it will give us direction. If it's working for them, it'll work for me. But it's just not like that. Like, I could sit there and tell somebody, what I do and what I eat to stay in shape. And then, they go, oh, well, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to do exactly what she did because it works for her. But then they go and try it and it's not working for them because their body is completely different. They have to tune into their own self and figure out what works for them. And I just say, it's a mix between movement and energy. Like, you have to really think about what you're consuming as energy, and what they've associated with our energy is a lot of additives and calories and stuff to wear us down and, get us on the pills. So it's all done on purpose. I mean, I can't say that enough. It's all done on purpose. And but anyway, so, all of this stuff is making people unhealthy and is wrecking their bodies, but they have to go in and try and figure out for themselves. That's why this is so self-destructive when people tell people, like, well, I'm a vegan and you have to be a vegan. There's people whose body cannot maintain that kind of energetic intake at all. The other thing too, I have found so much. It's so crazy because the year when I was first here, I was going out and riding my bike all the time. And I would go out and ride, and it's hard, and going in hills. And my bike isn't, mine's a cruiser. It has 3 speeds, but it is hard to go up and down hills. So it's a lot of work. And I would go out and do that, and be sweating and stuff. And then even when I was in Spokane and I didn't drive, I have those saddle bags on my bike, and I would fill them up with stuff. Like, I'd go to the grocery store, I'd fill them, I'd have shit tied to my bike. Like, I'm sure I look like a crazy homeless person to a lot of people, but whatever, that's their perception, and they don't know my struggle. They don't know what I'm going through. I couldn't drive for a while. I had to, I even bought a wagon and took it up to the store. But a wagon is really hard to do because it keeps hitting you in the back of the legs. So, and it's really low, like you have to lean. It's way more of a kid toy. But anyways, I mean, you could get a bigger, fancier one probably, and it would work. Like, if you're having trouble getting your stuff from the store, totally get a wagon. And you might be able to find them for really cheap on Marketplace or something. Because I know a lot of people are losing their cars and stuff. I saw somebody do footage of a homeless guy yesterday, and he had roped like 4 grocery carts together. So he had like a little choo-choo train crossing the street with all of his stuff. It's just like, man, what a frustrating life, You can't just sit in one place all day. They make you move around. You can't leave your stuff and go like to the store because someone will steal whatever tent, blankets, shoes, whatever supplies you have. Someone will steal them. And so you have to keep your stuff on you. You have to provide your own shelter. So you have to have some stuff. And then you have to keep it on your person at all times. And it's just like, man, that is quite the lifestyle. But definitely those people are learning a lot of resilience if they can keep themselves off of the drugs and out of the toxic lifestyle that can be found on the streets. I mean, geez, some of the footage on the streets, it's just rough. And another thing that I keep seeing footage, Must have some new hairs growing in. You know, another thing that I keep seeing this footage of that is just, oh, it is so, it's so sick, man. It's just sick. And this one was a really strange one today because I've seen a lot of them where it is these old men come into this place and they get stopped as they're about to go in. This one today was McDonald's, but I've seen them stopped all over the place at different places, some at hotels. And some older guy, and it can be ranged from late 20s to fucking 70s, 80s, like all ages. And these young people with cameras and stuff stop them and start questioning them of what they're doing there, why they're doing there. Then they start pulling out the evidence. They already know what you're doing there. They've already got it. They are monitoring certain sites on social media or whatever, on the computer, on the internet. They're monitoring certain sites where these predators go to get hold of little kids. And so they are in the conversation because they always start talking about the conversation. They always start saying, so did you say this? Well, we have it right here. We have the emails right here. You said blah, blah, blah. You said blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, oh my God. Oh, this is so disturbing. It's so disgusting. What some of these some of these men want to do to like 12-year-olds, little. Oh my God, it is because to me, the one teacher who is pushing on the maps thing, she's losing her job apparently, but she's only one of many, and the whole thing is this minor attracted or whatever you want to label it as, it is a sickness. It is not normal behavior. It is not, it is something wrong. It's like a disorder they need to work on, and they want us to accept this stuff. Is like, okay, so what next? You want us to accept people who murder for fun? Like, what in the hell? It is this constant push on this, on the ethics and stuff, on our moral compass. They have, and how many people just fucking ride along? That's driving me crazy now. Ride along with the agenda. They don't see anything wrong with it. They just become so disconnected from themselves, their souls, from the other people around them, that they just, they just don't care. And it is, I don't know, it is disturbing how many people just play along in the system and do so much evil. But I know each of those people, they come here with their soul group to play that part so that they can all learn from the experience. It's just a lot of hard, dirty stuff here. And the one today that he was showing, it was I don't even know, because it was a man. I mean, looked like a man, tall man, looked exactly like a man, sounded exactly like a man. So it didn't seem they'd done hormones, because his voice, I mean, there was nothing feminine about this person other than the fact they had on a tiny mini dress and a wig and some really huge boobs that, that can be all artificially put in easily. And this dress, oh my Lord. And at some point the guy goes, you're a 61-year-old man. Or you're 61 years old, ma'am, or something like that. And it's so weird, because this person is sitting there trying to look all feminine and is speaking in this deep man voice and saying, why it's okay to have sex with a 13-year-old. They did it 150 years ago. It's the Puritans that got in the way, because like I was a Puritan, because the Puritans wanted to, with the religious control and stuff. And, that is what a lot of these people think. Like, I mean, the whole thing in like Utah and some of these places where they believe in polygamy, a lot of those people, especially like their church leaders or whatever, the leaders of their group, a lot of them have multiple wives, and it is an honor for some of these men in the congregation to sell their young daughters to, or not sell them, marry their young daughters to these leaders for these groups of people. And they're fucking marrying girls that are like fucking 10, 11 years old, 12, 13. They're still doing that stuff. And some of these girls have, whistleblowing girls who've come out and said what goes on in these, I don't know, I think a lot of people would consider them cults. Some people consider them religion or religious sects or something. I don't know. To me, it's all nutty cuckoo, because it is all a cult. If you're not just going inside and you have a personal relationship with your own creator that nobody else needs to understand, then you are focusing on something outside of you. You're trying to please somebody else. You're trying to follow the rules, live by the book, whatever it is. And it is your internal is your true, it's your true barometer to life, and it will show you what you're there to learn and everything. So there is nobody should be living by anyone else's rules. And there's all of the stuff about the Bible, so much of that stuff coming out is really to expose that, to bring that to the surface, so people question those kinds of things and start questioning, like, why am I living like this? Why am I doing this? Why do I do that? And they do it because someone told them. And then you got to go, well, who told me? Well, who wrote the book? Well, how many people edited the book? How many people are telling me how to live my life? And then when you go and you figure out who these people are and what it is they want from you and why they did it. And I think that is going to be the big thing of why is going to be, people are not going to be going outside of themselves looking for a savior. They're going to go inside of themselves to learn to save themselves. And it is not going to be like, kind of looks like, oh, because I have it turned, I think, the camera. I kept thinking, because I was like, what in the hell? What am I in, like some dark space? Like, I couldn't even tell. I thought that was just, I don't even know what, I thought it, who knows what the hell I thought. I wasn't thinking. That is what we, like so many of us, we are just used to not thinking. I catch myself all the time. Like I'll put on some movie or something. I have a hard time sitting still forever. I just put on things, I'm looking for something, and I'm always looking for something to catch my interest, to pull my my consciousness into an interest in what I'm watching, and it's hard. I'm always getting distracted. Like I'm seriously like one of those little hummingbirds, like going around. So I will put on something, and then I'll go in the kitchen and I'll start doing something. And then I will, I'll hear something. I'll be like, oh, maybe I want to watch that. Maybe I want to hear what they're saying or whatever. And I'll start like getting this, it's not like panicky, but it's kind of like, I think what people think of as anxiety. Oh, it's going. What are you going to do? Oh my gosh, it's going to go. And then I'll always get that voice that comes in. Yeah, but who cares? You can always rewind. You can always go out there and pause it. You can always do that. Like they start giving me all of these possibilities that override, like where I start feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss it, And it's weird because that kind of stuff happens to me all of the time, where I will, it's kind of just like I'm sitting here looking at the thing, and I keep thinking, I wonder why it looks so black over there. It's weird because it kind of cuts off my shoulder. So I'm thinking this whole thing like, man, is the curtains that dark? How do I have this angled? Like I've got all this stuff thinking. And then so when I started looking at it, I was like, oh, I've got the camera behind the light, this light ring thing. Which these light rings work really good because I don't even have all the lights on in my house. But anyways, there was some other stuff I wanted to talk about. So, but do try and, catch yourself all the time. How much we let our minds just run rampant, and then we feed it with our anxiety. And then, but as soon as you pull in and you realize, oh, wait a minute, I have control over that. it's not, nothing is happening. It's, I have control. And then it just releases that anxiety. All of a sudden, you're just like, oh yeah, there's nothing to worry about. So anyways, it's just a practice to, get in the habit of doing. It's all part of the deprogramming and reprogramming our minds, as far as I'm concerned. So, one of the things that I had seen is this little kid. I don't know if I already said this. Now I'm really, oh my gosh, like I feel like my mind just glitched. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'm about to repeat myself. Maybe I'm about to repeat the stories I already told. I don't know. Time warp and a mind warp. So, this little kid was crying. Did I already tell this? Like, so weird. So, I'm telling you, I start talking, and it seems like I'm just talking, but really, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Words just keep coming in, and I just keep saying them. So, okay. So we'll go back to this little kid thing, and I may be repeating this story, but the little kid who was crying, and then the mom was talking to him, and she didn't know what was going on. And I commented, and she has responded to me, and so I responded back. Yeah, because she really should with this little kid. He was crying. He had this traumatic situation. She had on, when she showed the TV, what he was watching, it was just those binorm whatever beach, and a nature scene. And he started crying, and he started saying that he started saying, me and you passed away. We died in the water, all the water, we died. And no, he kept saying, he didn't say die. He kept saying passed away. We passed away. We passed away. And the mom was like, what are you talking about? We're right here. We didn't pass away. What do you mean? She's like, what are you talking about? When? And he goes, before, when we were here before, not now. It is before, when we passed away. And she was like, when? What are you talking about? And he's like, in the river. And she goes, what? Did you pass away in the river? And he goes, no, both of us, we passed away in the river. And I'm telling it, he's bawling his head off as he's telling this story. And she is kind of like, you can tell she's kind of like concerned, but she's not taking it like super serious. Like she thinks it's just a kid having, like, maybe he had a dream or something. But kids are here to remember past lives too. And you go into meditations really easy, especially some people. And so he is trying to process this whole thing. And she's asking him questions, and he's super traumatized. And he's cute as can be. But then he starts saying, I just want to pass away again. I just want to go back. I don't know why I came back here. Why am I back here? I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go back. I want to pass away. And the mom's like, what? Why don't you want to be here? And stuff. And it's like, man, see, when parents really understand about reincarnation, what a different conversation that would be. And what a healing conversation you can turn it into for that child. So it was like, oh my gosh, that was so, like, I could feel that boy's pain, because, past life memories are very traumatic, especially when you remember a death. And, and I don't know what he's remembering or why he needs to remember it or what he's trying to heal or remember. But, there definitely is a veil over us for a purpose. It would seriously be super traumatizing if you sat there all day long having to be completely aware of all of your lives and how you've existed in so many different places. It would be really overwhelming. There would be no way to be in the present moment ever. You would constantly be reliving traumas. I mean, just in this present life, people are in a mind trap reliving traumas instead of being in the present, So if they were having to relive tons and tons of different lives and deaths, then it would be really difficult. But right now, as our soul is awakening and we're remembering who we are, all of that kind of stuff is coming to the surface, especially stuff you need to heal and that you need to look at. And so, because, I've talked about this before, we're closing soul cycles. It's not just this life. I mean, we've lived so many lives. I hear people like, yeah, I think I lived a couple of other lives. I think I might have lived 10 or 20. I think I've even heard somebody say 100, but you've lived thousands. Just think about one night, how many dreams you can have. Like, you lived probably millions of lives, just like a dream. You just go in and have that experience. It's just a trip because we are in the experience realizing what it is. So it's very trippy, like what is happening here. To be in the dream and realize you're in a dream and that someone else is dreaming you into existence. And I think it's quite fascinating that we are capable of experiencing. And, then you have to ask the questions, how it all works and stuff. And you start seeing that you're a projection of your higher self and stuff. So anyways, and another thing I saw this morning that was really sad or heartbreaking is this huge movement of these kids who are detransitioning. They're going back, like they went one way and now they're going back. Oh my gosh, it's a huge, huge movement. And like I said, when I was talking about it the other day with the boy, or the young adult man now with his little tiny, it sounds funny to say, but it's not funny. It's traumatic. Like what these kids are going through. I just am thankful for these med beds. They're going to really help. But people have to go through the experience and the trauma and to really understand the impact of choices and how we all work together and how we look at things and stuff. Like, I mean, these kids that are constantly judging the older generations that are making such significant choices that are affecting so many other people, like, and they're going to have to look at themselves in the mirror about that. And can they look at themselves in the mirror in the same way that they judge others? Do they need to release the judgment of others and understand how it all works together, how we're all just here trying to learn, and stop blaming others for your pain? Because that's what it all comes down to, is that they just need somebody to blame for their pain, why things don't feel right, why everything feels wrong for them. It's got to be somebody else's fault. Everybody else on the planet is doing great. It's just me. And it's got to be because of them or them, And so it is, it's a release of all that judgment. And it is, it empowers you to take responsibility for your own pain. And I know a lot of people don't even understand that at all, that they think, that it is weak if you take responsibility for your own pain. But really, it empowers you when you realize that nobody can hurt you unless you allow them to hurt you. You have control. You have the word that I'm trying to think of. You have domain over your energy, and nobody can do it unless you allow it. And how we always allow it is these triggers, things that trigger us. And that's why, it's so important to heal the triggers and to allow triggers to be coming up, to welcome the triggers that are coming up, because then you can heal the pain that is associated with the trigger. And so, and it moves you into a place of feeling good about yourself. And I'm telling you, when you start really doing all your healing, it changes your whole perspective of life. It changes how you interact with people, how you feel about people, how you feel about yourself. And it's so crazy too, because I keep seeing all of these people, like I just saw this one, and this girl was talking. I swear to God, I just had some sort of time warp happening. It's so weird. God, I am having a hard time even pulling into this. I swear to God, I don't feel like I've been talking. It says 29 minutes, and I feel like I was just on TikTok 2 seconds ago. Like, this is weird. That's why it's really confusing me over what I'm even talking about. It's really weird because I did a whole bunch of videos this morning on TikTok. And then I do this one because it's longer. And so that one I have to break it down. This one I like put it all together. So I don't know if it's just really messing with my head or what, but I feel like really tripping out right now. So anyways, the thing with the kids transition, that is heartbreaking, especially because they're going against the narrative, and they're not speaking in a positive way about this push, that they are being censored, just like the injured people are being censored. They're not getting to talk. They're being shut down, and it's sad because these kids have gone through some traumatic shit, man. Like, this one, I guess it's in the New York Post, I think was the newspaper, which is odd because they are very much about the agenda. And the article was about what I'm talking about, these kids that are going the other direction and all the trauma they've gone through. And this one girl's story that was being told, she had a double mastectomy at 16. She had been on blockers for 3 years. Oh my gosh. And now she's going back. And it is, I saw another girl this morning that she was talking about. I don't know if she had any surgery or whatever. She said she had been on the blockers and then she stopped, and she said that her hormones are so all over the place. She's having such a hard time. Every single thing in her body is in so much pain. And yeah, I mean, and this is a kid. These are kids. And it's so sad. And then they keep pulling more and more in to the thing, just like, they keep pulling more and more in because they're not releasing the truth. They're not telling people the facts. They're just telling them what they want them to hear so that they all jump on board. And, but all of those souls that are jumping on board all have a really significant lesson. It's something that they're here to learn. It's just hard to watch people learn such heavy stuff. It's really sad. And I'm so confused right now. And now I'm like, man, did I talk about the optic lines and stuff now? And, the significance of them selling all of this 100 miles where 75% of the people live, it is, man, I just can't. I don't know. I feel like really weird all of a sudden. And Stella barking. I don't know. I think I'll just come back in a minute. Maybe I need to regroup because I'm really feeling weird. Like I'm in some sort of time glitch or something for a second. I don't know what's going on. I'll be back in a minute.